If you want to keep up to date with all my videos as they come out, then be sure to hit the bell icon, as YouTube has inexplicably rendered the subscribe button useless. Yay. God, this website. Hello, the mysterious person behind the screen. Fair warning before we begin, I'm going to be taking many swigs of this throughout the video. Lovely orange juice with ice cubes, because it is hot. It is really, really hot outside right now. British people do not know how to take it when we've had months and months of freezing cold weather and even snow, beast from the east. Now it's boiling hot. So this is like heaven right now. So that's a fair warning before we begin. So yeah, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I have reviewed on this channel Captain America Civil War and Spider-Man Homecoming as they've come out. But I've never done a in-depth video detailing my thoughts on the MCU and how much I love it. And I thought, with Infinity War a week away from when we're recording this video, it's a week away. I can't wait. I thought, let's recap over all the MCU so far. I've got, oh please don't fall, I've got this massive stack of Blu-rays over here. All of them there. So, without further ado, where did it all begin? 10 years ago, 2008, Iron Man. This was a huge surprise. I think everyone was there. I remember it coming out and it was huge. It was massive. You couldn't get away from it. It was the movie of the summer, and I was so young. I was really young. I remember this coming out, and even when I was young, I really enjoyed it. But if you watch it, it's a movie about business. It's a movie about business and weapons and stuff, and it's not like your standard superhero film with like superhero beats bad guy, even though it is that. There's a more business side to it, which rewatching it, I'm surprised I enjoyed it as much as I did at that young age. But it's got all the thrills, it's got all the thrills you could want. I vividly remember having my old DVD of this and replaying the sequence when he first starts flying in the Mark II. Over and over again, back and back and back. Iron Man is still a great film. It began the trend of Marvel Studios taking not very well-known character, and no, it wasn't. Before 2008, the mainstream audience had no idea who Iron Man was, and making them huge in the public consciousness, and Iron Man kicked that off. Robert Downey Jr. obviously steals the show in his first performance, and he's great from the off. He is Tony Stark. To me, it's one of those portrayals you can't really imagine anyone else in the role. He just is Tony Stark, and it's dated really well. If you watch it now, it's really weird to think 10 years ago they did this experiment. They had no idea what was coming, and now we're 19 films deep almost with Infinity War coming out, and yeah, Iron Man is a great film that kicked off this whole 10-year journey of the MCU where we are now, and one of my favourites for sure. Then we have the Incredible Hulk. Incredible Hulk. It's the black sheep of the MCU. Even Iron Man 2 doesn't get as much hate as this does. It gets a lot of hate, and is it deserved? I don't think so. And it's canon. It is canon in the MCU. They refer to it in Avengers. I kind of broke Harlem, referring to the events of this film, and General Ross turns up in Civil War, played by the same actor. So it's canon. It is, just because it has one-time Hulk Ed Norton doesn't mean it's not canon. It's a fun film. I enjoy it. The thing is with Hulk films, the public pays for the Hulk, but the character of Bruce Banner is always trying to cure himself of the Hulk. So it sort of contradicts what the audience are paying to see, and that's the biggest problem with it. But I enjoy it. I think Ed Norton is a great Bruce Banner. Mark Ruffalo's better for sure, but I enjoy this film. Is it one of the best? No, it's not anywhere near my top 10. But I've always enjoyed it for what it is. Again, I remember it coming out with Iron Man and watching it and hearing rumours from hardcore comic fans at the time Because obviously at the end of this, I always think it's a post-credit scene. It's not. It's just the end of the film. Obviously the end of this, Tony Stark appears in the bar. What if I told you we were putting a team together? Who's we? And I remember that at the time, hearing just whispers. Again, really young, just hearing like, you know, they're gonna combine all the franchises together, and they're gonna have Captain America and Thor and Black Widow, characters I never heard of at this point. Or I'd heard of them, but I was not familiar with them at all, and just thinking, nah, that'll never happen. That's just a pipe dream. We're just going to be seeing Iron Man and Hulk sequels for years. It's just a pipe dream. That's not, obviously I wasn't thinking this because I was young, but I was thinking in that mindset that I doubt that will happen, because it's just too ambitious. No one could have predicted it at the time. That they were going to intersect all these franchises, and now it just seems commonplace with the DCEU and the what is it, the Dark Universe? Oh god, the Dark Universe obviously intersecting all those franchises. Even though that's Iron Man's fallen off. Don't want that. Even though that's sort of been put on hold now. You know, it's MCU started it, and it was really the Incredible Hulk that made us all go, yeah, this could be a thing, and this is kind of exciting. And yeah, I've always enjoyed the Incredible Hulk. Bit dull, yeah, kind of, but Abomination's great as well. I really like Abomination in it, so yeah. Also, I forgot to mention the post-credit scene of Iron Man, which is Nick Fury, Director of S.H.I.E.L.D., who did talk to you about the Avengers Initiative, and that's just like, it kicks off this whole thing of like, and I imagine just comic fans at the time going, oh my god, like that is, it's yeah, again, it's one of those things that probably at the time seemed like a bit of a pipe dream, but it's really fun to look back on now and see the genesis of it, and it's great. Then we come to another sort of hated one in the MCU, and that's Iron Man 2. On my last rewatch, I rewatched all the MCU films up to, I think it was before Spider-Man Homecoming came out, or Guardians 2. It was either one of those. It was one of those two. I actually really liked Iron Man 2. It's not a bad film at all. At worst, it's just, yeah, it's fun. At worst, it's just a disposable flick. I actually find it quite fun. It's fun to see Stark being Iron Man and just relishing it, even if it does make him a bit of a dick. You know, that's one of the things about Tony Stark. He's a dick, but he's a lovable dick. And I don't know. I always thought this was my least favourite. We'll come to my least favourite. About 6 films down the line. Is it 6? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 films down the line. But no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Bogged down by setup for Captain America and the Avengers, yes, for sure. But you know, I think Marvel learned from their mistake. Well, they made that mistake again, but they've rarely done that. They've rarely compromised the films in service of the wider universe. It's only this and a film we'll talk about soon. But yeah, I don't mind it. I actually quite like it, and you know, Jon Favreau sort of had a bad experience in this, but he's not let it sort of taint his experiences. He came back for Iron Man 3 and Avengers and Homecoming and stuff. Is he in Avengers? He's not in Avengers, is he? Or Age of Ultron? Huh, that's weird. Well, he came back for Homecoming then. But yeah, he by all accounts, Marvel is a very supportive franchise, and when they've fallen out with directors, you know, Edgar Wright, Joss Whedon, 99% of the time, there's not really been any bad blood after the fact. So I don't know, I kind of like that. Iron Man 2, it's fun. I don't mind it. The next item is actually a prized, you know, item in my collection, because this is pretty rare. This thing goes for a lot of money, and when I discovered that, and I thought, isn't that the thing I have? I was pretty shocked and stunned. Yeah, it's the Thor Steelbook. This thing's gorgeous. It's in pretty good condition as well. I've talked about this on the channel before in my Steelbook collection. It's a bit banged up there, you can see, but it's mostly, just look at that. That's stunning. See the embossed title. Just Thor there in the back. You got Mjolnir, which is really nice. And on the inside, I'll just showcase this. It's got the pictures of the cast. There's more behind the discs, but I won't take them out. Yeah, no, this was like the third copy of this, because we bought one, my family bought one, and it didn't work. The Blu-ray just kept stopping at one moment. Returned it, bought another copy, same deal. Returned it, bought a third copy. We were about to give up at this point. And lo and behold, it works, and it still works to this day. And we got this gorgeous. So I almost didn't have it. One of my prize items in my collection, and I almost didn't have it. I almost just gave up. But you know, it's. Should we move this here? Can we see it? Can we? Get that there? Yeah, I don't know. Leave that there. You can't see it, but yeah, no. Thor is a film I enjoy a lot. It's not one of my favourites, I must admit, but I enjoy Kenneth Branagh's direction. Again, it's Marvel exploring different genres with their films, which I'm always a fan of, and Chris Hemsworth. I can't say his name. Chris Hemsworth. There you go. What was that about? He's great as Thor. He's it's weird to look back at his performance and then compare it to something like Ragnarok, because he's a very different character. He's evolved over these years. So it's interesting. Great theme by Patrick Doyle. I love the theme in this. The which got brought back in Ragnarok briefly for the ending when he sits on the phone. You get the tune. It's a great theme, great score. Yeah, Thor's one I enjoy. Not one of my favourites, but one I keep coming. One I do keep coming back to. It's a fun film. I do like Thor a lot. Now we have, unashamedly, one of my favourites in the MCU. It is Captain America: The First Avenger. Now this is interesting, because this is not very well liked when compared to Civil War and Winter Soldier. And I can see why. It's simple, but I kind of like it. It's nostalgic. It's a 40s period World War II flick. It's fun, you know. I don't know. I kind of like that. Captain America is my favourite character in the MCU, so I guess I have the bias to this is his origin. It's got a great score by, is it Silvestri? It must be Silvestri, right? Silvestri. Yeah, Silvestri. It's Alan Silvestri doing the score. That theme, once I hear it, is just stuck in my head all day. It's one of my favourite themes in the MCU. It's such a wartime theme, and you know, Captain America in this is just a guy doing good for the, you know, I don't want to kill anyone. I just don't like bullies. It's so good. It's really nice. It's a really nice self-contained film. I always think that shot at the end with the kids running off, and the theme starts up, and the kids are running off, you know, pretending to be Captain America. If you wanted to, you could turn off the film at that moment and not have the bit at the end with him waking up in modern times. I actually really enjoy this as a standalone thing. Sometimes I don't even remember it as an MCU film. I just enjoy it as a film on its own. It's in my top 10 for sure. It's one of my favourites in the MCU. Criminally underrated. Great cat. Hayley Atwell, who launched the character of Peggy Carter. Now she's got her own TV show. Well, she did. It got cancelled, unfortunately. But she had her own great TV show for 2 really solid seasons. And they could have gone even further with it with season 3, but it got cancelled. But one of my favourite characters in the MCU, Aaron Peggy Carter. And just, I adore this film. I really like it. The back there with the star. I really like this film. Criminally underrated, in my opinion. One of my favourites. Now we have my favourite. There's no secret. It's the Avengers, or Avengers. We got saddled with the super title Avengers Assemble in the UK. It's the Avengers. I know it is the Avengers. It's called the Avengers. Yeah, no. How can you not love the Avengers? It's the culmination of how many we had at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 films. This is the 6th film in the MCU. And I remember seeing this, being ridiculously hyped, opening night, and just being like, this is awesome. That my favourite moment in the entire MCU. You're right, we've had Civil War, which I love, and we've had the Guardians, which I love, and we've had, you know, Thor Ragnarok now, which I love. This is still my favourite in the MCU. When all the Chitauri are coming down, and we get that amazing group shot with Iron Man flying down, Cap, Thor, Hulk, Natasha, and Clint just there, and the theme is just, I can't explain it. I'm giddy thinking about it. I smile so much at that moment. The da 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 when they were that massive group shot. That's a moment I think will go down in movie history. It's one of my favourite movies of all time, let alone the MCU. I just think it's a brilliant film. Joss Whedon balances the characters as, you know, Joss Whedon, Sunnydale shirt, Buffy shirt. Joss Whedon is amazing at that. I think he balances the characters amazingly. I think he, the writing is spot on. Some of the lines are so quotable. I could quote, not even the humorous lines, just the fact that the heroes are interacting in that final battle. It's not just that they're there. Like in Batman v Superman, they didn't really interact. They just was fighting Doomsday, just the three of them. All right, they had that group shot, but they weren't really interacting. This one, well, they can't bank worth a damn. I don't see how that's a party. Thor's taking down a squadron up on Civ, and he didn't invite me. You know, so many lines that they're just interacting and playing well as a team. Got that tracking shot as it goes through, and we have Iron Man deflecting his repulsor ray off Cap's shield. Clint taking down Chitauri from the skies. You know, it's Avengers is everything I think we all wanted it to be and more. It's the best thing Marvel has ever done, in my opinion. It's a tremendous film. So much fun. It's easily my favourite in the MCU. There are always men like you. It's the Avengers is just, you can't beat it. You really cannot beat it. I will be so shocked if Infinity War can beat it. You know, my expectations are really high for that one. Then we have Iron Man 3. Yeah, you know what? Sue me, it's my favourite of the trilogy. Iron Man 3 is genuinely my favourite of the Iron Man trilogy. Why? It's a personal tale about Tony Stark, who, you know, is why people love the Iron Man films. It's Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr.'s performance. It's a personal tale of him and just exploring his character, what makes him tick, stripping away the suit and just exploring Tony. I think it's fantastic. Shane Black's direction. He wrote it, didn't he? Hang on. Where is it? I think he wrote it. Screenplay by Drew Pearce and Shane Black. It's again, so many quotable lines. Visually really nice. I think it's a great film. The Mandarin twist, all right, come on. I think it's best that it's hard to get into because the Mandarin in the comics is the Fu Manchu, kind of a racist stereotype. He's Iron Man's main villain, yes, and he's a great villain in the Iron Man cartoon from the 90s. That was my first exposure to him. It's best not to get into that Fu Manchu stuff, and I think they did. Trevor Slattery is bloody hilarious. I'm just going to say it. He's hilarious. I think he's one of the best parts of the film. Won't go in there for 20 minutes. I'm laughing just thinking about it. And the short film on the Thor: The Dark World Blu-ray hints that there's a Mandarin out there, a real Mandarin like the comics. So it's fine. I have no problem with that twist at all. I think Iron Man 3 is a great film, and honestly, I have no problem saying it's my favourite of the trilogy. Sue me. Now we have my least favourite of the MCU. Thor: The Dark World. I think it speaks for the quality of the MCU when this is my least favourite, but it's not awful. Like, I think Thor: The Dark World is a alright film. It's not awful, it's not terrible. I just think it pales in comparison to some of the other ones. I think it's bland. The director is Alan Taylor from Game of Thrones. I think that was the mistake they made. They basically just got someone from Game of Thrones in the hopes to get that fantasy feel. It didn't quite work. It's just fairly uninspired, quite bland. The music is entirely forgettable. Oh yeah, the theme for Iron Man 3. It's like a 60s spy thriller theme. I love that. It's I wish they keep the themes like, you know, consistent, but they don't. But Thor: The Dark World, yeah. Hemsworth is still great. I love him and Loki in it. Tom Hiddleston's Loki, absolutely fantastic as always. There's some great stuff in it. I love the Captain America cameo when Loki turns into him. God bless America. It's I like all that. It's wasted Chris Eccleston as well, really, isn't it? Christopher Eccleston does not make any impact as was it Malekith? I can't even remember his name. I'm not really a Thor fan in the comics, at least. But yeah, it's definitely my least favourite Thor film and my least favourite in the MCU in general. It's fairly bland. Hang on. One thing I really like in this film and in the first film, which people don't, is Kat Dennings as Darcy. I find her really hilarious, and people hate her. Like, she's like the Jar Jar Binks of the MCU. Obviously not to an extent of Jar Jar, but people really hate Kat Dennings as Darcy. I find her hilarious. It's at the end, where the character's there and Mjolnir flies past and she just goes meow meow, and I don't know. I've always liked that character. She probably won't be in any more films, but I've always liked that character. Fairly good slipcase as well, nice and shiny. So yeah, it's my least favourite, but it's just mediocre at best. I don't find it awful at all. Now, one of the best, Winter Soldier. Oh man, it's great, isn't it? It's. I watched this when I was ill the other week, and it's so good. It's you know, I think it's fair to say before this film, Captain America was always my favourite member of the Avengers. He's my favourite character in the MCU. I think it's fair to say I didn't share that opinion with most people. But this film made Captain America cool. You know, it's a spy thriller, 70s style. All the President's Men with punching, as everyone likes to say. It's great. The Winter, bringing back Bucky after he died in the first one, expands Steve's character so much, because it's like this. He wears his country's stripes on his uniform, and he's trusting this government that he realizes the whole time has been the enemy, and now he doesn't quite know what to do. It's really fascinating, and Captain America's a fascinating character like that anyway, because it's finding out his country and the people he works for isn't perfect, and I just love it. I think it's a great exploration. Got the introduction of Sam Wilson, the Falcon. There's so much to love in this film. It's not one I return to often, because it's sort of quite a heavy film. It deals with quite a lot of stuff, Nick Fury's death and everything. But it's still, for me, it's coming out of its slipcase. There's the cover on its own, by the way. Nothing too special. But I love it. It's great. It's fantastic. Yes. What more is there to say? The Winter Soldier is just terrific. I'll be with you till the end of the line. That is what. Oh, okay. That was a good save. I really thought all those were going to smash, then they just fell off the thing. One of the best lines in the MCU, him and Bucky's relationship. The Winter Soldier is one of the best in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm going to move these over here so they don't get knocked off. Just put them there. Winter Soldier is one of the best in the entire MCU. I love it. We come to now probably either my second, third, or fourth favourite. I can never decide. It always gets taken over by its sequel, or sometimes it takes over its sequel. I can never decide. Guardians of the Galaxy. I wish I had the slipcase, but it didn't come with one, and I can't be bothered to find it. But Guardians of the Galaxy. What a great film. This was the one. This was a huge risk. This was an Avengers style risk. No one who knew who the Guardians were. No one gave a crap. No one cared. Vividly remember seeing this with my family and my dad going, "What the hell are we gonna watch? A green woman, a tree, and a talking raccoon? What are we watching here?" And now this is the Guardians films are his favourites. So it just goes to show Marvel 99% of the time, if it's a risk, they take it, and 99% of the time it pays off. Guardians of the Galaxy, one of my favourites, top 5 for sure. Great soundtrack, great songs. Tyler Bates' music, it gets overshadowed by obviously the licensed music, the 70s and 80s songs. Tyler Bates' theme for the Guardians is one of the best in the entire MCU. When it showed up in Volume 2, I had a massive smile on my face, because I'm just like, thank God, they kept continuity with the music. The dun 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 dun, and they often bring that back throughout the Guardians films. James Gunn, fantastic direction. The cast have great chemistry. It's absolutely hilarious. Guardians of the Galaxy, one of the best. One of the best. Controversial one, Avengers Age of Ultron. I like this film. It's fun. Not as good as the first one. It goes a bit deeper, a bit darker with the characters, which is always good. You can tell Joss Whedon didn't like some of the stuff in it. They sort of made him include setup for Thor 3. They sort of... Yeah, it's bogged down by setup. And it's the second and thankfully the last to date time so far that they've let that get in the way of the story. But even then, I think it's not a deal breaker for me, because it introduces the Scarlet Witch, Wanda, who is great, and she's in Civil War and Infinity War, and she's great. And we get her brother, who isn't so great, but he gets killed off anyway, so whatever. Get some more backstory for Black Widow. We get Vision. We get a Vision. Who the hell thought we'd get a Vision in a film one day? Ultron's great. Get Ulysses Claw, cuttlefish. They hypnotise their prey. Saw it on the TV one time. It was terrifying. Andy Serkis's Claw, absolutely amazing. I like Age of Ultron. One of the best. No, not as good as the first. I have a feeling it'll probably be the weakest out of the trilogy once Infinity War comes out, but I don't think it's as bad. And Whedon and Feige seem to have made up since this, so yeah, a cautionary tale on what not to do. But Age of Ultron is still just pretty good, so it's not bad. Ant-Man. I love Ant-Man. It's a lot of fun. Again, it's not one of those ones that gets talked about often. This is a really nice slipcase as well. You see it glistens there, it's shiny and stuff. In the case like there. A bit damaged, unfortunately, where I got it for Christmas one year, and the family member who got it for me got it from Tesco, and Tesco just left, you know, the red thing they have on there in stores to stop people from opening out and stealing it and taking the disc. Tesco didn't take that off, so I had to jimmy it with a knife, and as a result the case is wrecked. But oh well, nice slipcase. Ant-Man I love. You got Paul Rudd as Scott Lang, who's great. Marvellous shrinking scenes, does a lot of fun stuff with those, and very inventive stuff with those. We've got the Thomas Tank Engine thing. Oh, that piss myself laughing every time at that. It's so good. Good supporting cast. Michael Pena as Louis. I forgot his name. Luis. Yeah. Get our first reference to SpiderMan. You know, we got a guy who swings up the walls. You know, we Michael. What's his face? Oh, shite. Michael Douglas. That's it. His de-age. He's great performance in the film. His de-aging at the start. Still, I know they did it in Civil War with Robert Downey Jr. and they did it in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with Kurt Russell. So this is still the best it's ever looked. It looks amazing. It looks like Michael Douglas from the 80s. Reappearance of Peggy Carter briefly, which I love. It's like she's in there briefly at the start, and it makes it clear that this universe is a big one, and characters you will often just see them appear. You know, you will often just see him appear, and she's there for a brief period at the start. And yeah, I love Ant-Man. I can't wait for Ant-Man and the Wasp to come out. You know, great stuff. Again, a great theme. A lot of these films, a lot of my favourite ones, have great musical scores, which I think some of them would do well to remember. So yeah, this dun 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 dun. Yeah, it's a heist movie, you know, different from the you know, before this we had cities coming out of skies in Age of Ultron. We got the bloody small scale heist movie. That's why I love it. That's what I love about it. And yeah, I like Ant-Man. Very funny too. Yeah, can't wait for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think this is my second favourite now. Second or third, my top 5 flip-flops all the time. Avengers will always be my favourite. This, Captain America Civil War, is how to do a superhero crossover. Wow. it's so good. It's the characters we love and who we have loved for years by this point, 8 years.
being forced to fight, and it's heartbreaking to watch. It's really sad to watch because you don't want them to fight. You know, you don't want them to fight, and it's sad when they do. But you recognise both sides and both sides' points and why they have to fight. And each character is not just, I'm gonna side with Captain America, I'm gonna side with Iron Man. No, they each have their own business to get out of it. Black Panther he's not really interested in the Accords. Well, he is, obviously, because his dad got killed at the signing. But at this point, it's sort of the least of his worries. He's out for revenge against the Winter Soldier. So he's on Iron Man's side. Natasha is still best friends with Steve, even though she's on Iron Man's side, you know? They interact in the big battle. Again, they interact and they, you know, we're still friends, right? Depends on how hard you hit me. You know, it's great. Spider-Man's first appearance, Tom Holland, my boy Spidey. First foray into the MCU in here. Again, the aforementioned Black Panther. It's a great film, so much to offer, so much political intrigue as well. The final fight, you know, the bullshit me Rogers, did you know? Yes, that's the moment. I'm really interested to see how they pay that off in Infinity War with their relationship, Tony and Steve. It's heartbreaking with that slow-mo shot at the end. You don't want them to hit each, you know, when they're just going at each other. It's just, you don't want it to happen. It's fantastic. One of my favourites in the MCU. It seems to get a lot of hate as well. It took a few viewings for sure. First viewing I was like, this is kind of slow. But no, it's fantastic. It's one of my all-time favourites. Second, third, fourth, or fifth favourite. It's flip-flops all the time. My top 5. So Civil War, one of the best. I've watched it so many times and I can't get enough of it. It's heartbreaking to watch, but it's so good to watch. It's such a great film. From now on, these are all steelbooks. So got some nice additions here. This is just gorgeous. Doctor Strange, look at that. Steelbook from Xavier, of course. And we've got the Eye of Agamotto there. It's lovely embossed and shiny, and the back we've got the runes there, and inside it's made up like a book. So it's all lovely. Doctor Strange, I really enjoyed Doctor Strange. It's a lot of fun. Foraying into the mystical side of the MCU. You know, we've got Earthbound with Avengers, we've got Cosmic with the Guardians, and now we've got full-on mystical with Doctor Strange. Another one that I know a lot of people weren't too keen about seeing, my friends in the real world, but once they did, they loved it. And Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch is fantastic, Tilda Swinton is the Ancient One, lots of things to enjoy, lots of the sling ring action. I just really enjoyed Doctor Strange. It's one I keep coming back to. Is it a remake of Iron Man? Yeah, I guess you could say that, but it's a good one. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, do not push. Oh wait, I just did. Nothing happens because it's just a steelbook. This is really nice too. You got Groot there, and you got on the back, it's just label. It's like the bomb at the end, kind of. That artwork inside as well. I won't take this out, but it's lovely. I adore Volume 2. Again, this got actually quite a lot of hate when it came out. Some jokes do go on, yeah, a bit too long. Film's a bit too long. I don't care. It's a personal story for the Guardians. It's Star-Lord meeting his dad. Spoilers, obviously. Rip Yondu. Oh man, I can't even talk about that. It's so good. That sequence with Rocket and Yondu breaking out is with Come a Little Bit Closer playing. Oh my god, it's so much fun. But if you took out any music, if you took out that and put any other music of that sequence, it'd be horrific. As in their action, they're literally murdering thousands of people right now, but it's so much fun. You know, you've got amazing stuff in here. I adore Volume 2. It's a personal story, and it's a great one. You got the Guardians, the family we got to know and love in the first one being tested. I adore Volume 2. Again, we've got the dun 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 da 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 coming back with many motifs during the film when Yondu's death. Oh man, It's that whole bit, and the ending is so powerful with Father and Son by Cat Stevens, and you've got the Yondu's funeral. It's the visually stunning, the colours, the CGI work. It's James Gunn again, proving his worth. Volume 2 is one of my favourites. Ever since I saw it, I love it. I absolutely love it. Mantis, we get a few new team members. You get Mantis, who's just adorable. She's fun. I love her. I love Mantis. She's very funny. You got Karen Gillan as Nebula. She was in the first one. Didn't have much to do. Her role gets expanded this time. Yeah, Volume 2 is fantastic. I have always enjoyed it, and I always will. So, there's that. Spider-Man. I reviewed this on this channel. I liked it, but it had some flaws, but it's still one of the best in yours. Look out, Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming. With his steelbook here, you got the suit and that. This is actually a magnet that comes off. I take it off when it's on the shelf and put it on the fridge because it won't fit, because obviously you just get that sticking out. But it's really cool, I think. And on the inside you get a free comic book. Which is quite lovely. You get a free comic there. And it's really nice. Homecoming's a lot of fun. In retrospect, it does have flaws. Yeah, I think there's a lot of flaws in it. Probably could have picked a director who has more flourish to his work. Bit blandly directed. Having said that, Tom Holland is absolutely sensational. Ned is hilarious. It's got some amazingly fun action sequences. Spidey being Spidey. It's great. I don't understand how you could not at least like Homecoming. It's not one of the best, I think, but it's a lot of fun. You watch it, and I think you get a good kick out of it each time. It's a party movie. I think it's a lot of fun with friends to just sit down with, and yes, you could sort of feel Sony barging in and changing some stuff because obviously the deal that they had with Marvel, but it's not a deal breaker. I enjoy Spider-Man Homecoming an awful lot, and now we have the most recent one on Blu-ray, but not the most recent film. Thor and Ragnarok. Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi is one of my favourite directors. I love his films, What We Do in the Shadows and Hunt for the Wilder People. So when he did Thor Ragnarok, I was so pleased he was joining the MCU to create what is a full-on comedy and what is all the better for it. Lord of Thunder, sparkles. Yes, that's what it feels like. I just really love this sport. I love it. Yeah, got a loose adaptation of Planet Hulk with him teaming up with the Hulk. Him seeing Doctor Strange, which, it makes the universe feel big. You have these heroes interacting, even if it is just a small moment. You don't have to big it up. Benedict Cumberbatch is not a big thing in the film. He's there for about 5 minutes, if even that. But it's just like, yeah, here's Doctor Strange helping Thor out on his adventure. It's a lot of good. One of the best Stan Lee cameos as well. I beg you, sir, do not cut my hair. No. You got Valkyrie being badass as hell. She's great. I'd like to see these characters again. You got Korg and Meek. Hey, bro, I'm gonna jump on this big spaceship and get the hell out of here. Wanna come? Taika Waititi as Korg. This Blu-ray is full of special features for Taika Waititi taking the piss out of everything. He's great. I love it. And Thor Ragnarok's one of the best in recent years, which we expected from good old Taika Waititi. So, and then recently, which I don't have on Blu-ray yet because it's not out, but I have pre-ordered it. The Steelbook, of course. The Black Panther. Black Panther was fantastic. I've seen it 3 times in the theatres, so I'm pretty qualified to judge. I saw it 3 times, and it's great. It's such a deep story, Killmonger's final line, man, really makes you think. It's really haunting. You got Chadwick Boseman kicking ass as T'Challa. It's funny, it's got humour in it, but it's also quite dark. It's a terrific exploration of African culture and African society. All mostly black cast, which is great, representation for the win. But you've also got Martin Freeman and Andy Serkis in there. Doing really good. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more. It's fantastic. Delete that footage. Shuri, who's now legitimately one of my favourite MCU characters. She's fantastic. It's sort of the calm before the storm of Infinity War, and I can't wait. So, you know, Black Panther's fantastic. I can't wait to add it to the collection. Roll on Infinity War. I can't bloody wait. Yeah, it's going to be great. I can't wait. I'm going to go now because it's really hot and I need to cool off. So, orange juice. Lovely. Take care now. I hope you enjoy Infinity War. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment. Tell me what your favourite MCU flick is. See you in the next one. Take care now. God, it's boiling.